This week we're featuring Amethyst, Sunstone under the microscope cam, Thread Locker on Why'd I Buy That, 6 new jokes, and Organic Wonders. Why did the fisherman start dancing? Because he caught a catchy tuna. Let's start the show. Okay, the problem here is I did find the original video for this stone, but there's a saw video where I split it because I'm showing in the first video that apparently I sawed it and I must have sawned it like a year ago? Yeah, here it is. Okay, here's the saw video. All right. How's it going? Cheers. Thank you for coming by. Let's cut some gems. Let it be known that quartz is very, very hard. And yes, it did make a spark. And the spark was kind of, I mean, it's a spark, but it's more of a yellow spark. Gotta point that out. Topaz will make a bluer spark. It's like a yellow-orange spark. Did you see the saw? I saw the saw. I saw the saw. I see you see the saw. And now you see, I saw that you see that I saw you see the saw. See? Who wants to hop on the seesaw? Hey, there's a joke there too. Why did the fisherman start to dance? Because he caught a catchy tuna. Now, how did he fillet the tuna? With a seesaw. Alright, that's pretty bad. Who else misses the chatbot? I need to get that done. Gotta finish tuning my transmission though. It's so cool putting hard parts in. High energy hard parts. Okay. Where were we? About to the microscope cam. Oh, yeah. Did you see those sparks? Because this is rose quartz. Those sparks too are yellowish sparks. Next video. Short show today, guys. But I got a couple of good jokes, I think. Probably. I can't remember. We're gonna find out. Oh, it's going great, man. I got that transmission. I got the whole engine out with no problems. Excited about it. Okay, there's 3 purple zones in this stone. 3 bars. Here's a triangle here. And here's a triangle here. And here's a triangle here. And I was going to highlight them, but the way that this stone worked out, it really, it's got, it like, it spread everything around. And it's got like dark purple on the top and bottom and light purple on the sides. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. I need to polish it some more, but that's where we are with it. Oh, it's going great, man. Got the engine out, no problems, and it's up in the air, down on the floor, hanging out. About to do all the parts. All right, let's get the microscopic cab. Microscopicam. Gonna need an. Okay, there's the other video. Do. How's your week looking? Is it gonna be fun? I'm excited about it. This is fun. I bet I've been looking forward to this transmission thing. Because I push on that pedal and I knew that something had to give eventually. Something, there's some sort of give point. Like the transmission's got hard parts and then it's got bushings. And the bushings are the part that wears out. They're designed to be the part that goes out before the hard part. Not that thing, this thing. There we go. There we go. Bling. Plus, I got like new bonded pistons and stuff like that. So I'm gonna be replacing a lot of the parts from a big kit, you know, and it's gonna be fun. Cause you know my Uncle Louie used to be a service transmission tech, and he taught me how to work on cars. Look at those inclusions. It kind of sucks that they're in there because they almost look like problems. I don't know, I might try to grind that one out of the top. It's so deep, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I can go down and get it. I don't think I can get it. It's so deep in there, right? But it's got, okay, there you go. You can kind of still see the 3 bars. There's 1 bar on each end, and the third, like, triangle bar in the middle here. But then when I turn it up, then it's got, like, a dark end on each end of it, and then the light end ends on the sides of it. Light sides, dark ends. And it's got a lot of scratches on the back sides. That's part of what's going on with all those lines in it. So let that be a lesson, because I need to polish these down with the 400 grit. That's the 1000 grit diamond. If I do the 400 grit cerium, it'll get rid of those scratches, and then I can do the 2000 to get rid of the 400. And that's kind of what I did with the top. That's why the top has more of an orange peel look. Because I didn't go down far enough with it, just didn't have the time. This gem has been done for a little while, but I never finished polishing it. And I needed to finish doing these top facets. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about before we do why'd I buy that. Is that I look at these gems when they're wet, and that kind of gives me an idea of where the beauty is, and then I try to shape it to bring that beauty out. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is that the top facets really do add a lot of character, and I've been getting lazy on them because it's hard to get them even. To get these 2 on each side to be straight and parallel and both cut as much, I have to time it. I have to put it on the wheel, pull it off, and see about how much deeper that cut in that amount of time, and put it back and pull it back off, and then go to the other one if I cut too far or cut uneven. And sometimes I hit hard spots and they spark out, and then it changes the whole gem. So I've been staying away from them a little bit, but I had to bring them back for this guy because, like, notice how this top facet here has like the light purple and the dark purple in it, and that's, you know, it's kind of like showing it off. It creates a frame around the gem. Sunstone. That's what I'm gonna work on now. Because I really like this sunstone. It's good, it's sparkly, it's got the copper in it. Those little copper flakes. This is a feldspar, it's not a quartz. Yeah, different stone. It's got this depth to it, but it's also pretty thick and flawless. So I don't want to screw it up, right? I mean, look at all those sparkles. So I'm not sure exactly when it comes over to like this spot that's really thin. I'm probably just going to get rid of most of the thin stuff. That way I can actually polish and facet this thing. And it'll be sparkly, but also faceted, and we'll be able to see through it. It shimmers. Yeah, it does. Oh, I got transportation, Colette. That's covered. This is my daily driver. This is my car that I'd love to drive. It's so much fun, Colette. I push on the gas and it goes. And everybody else drives so slow. And I drive other cars, you know. I got a truck with a V8 that I was like, you got to get on the interstate, right? So you push on the gas and not like floor it, but you give it a little bit of gas to get up to speed. And that's the bigger option in that truck, you know? And it's like, it's not loaded down or anything like that. It's supposed to be pretty quick, supposed to have a lot of pickup. Well, this car's got pickup. It beats Mustangs, Camaros, 90s Corvettes. And it's all in the gear ratio and the torque and the horsepower, and it's like factory Fast and Furious. Plus it's not the GTO, it's pretty damn close. But it's got more Lux options than the GTO had. Because the GTO, it was a 2-door, and this is a 4-door. Plus this thing has room for my sub. And it also, like, the GTO didn't come with a sunroof. This thing's got the sunroof, it's got like automatic climate control. You know, it's got seat heaters and stuff. GTO didn't come with those things because it was meant to be light. And the GTOs are quick. If you can get a 2006 GTO with a 6-liter, they're down to like 4.3 seconds from the factory. And that's like a naturally aspirated 6-liter. There's no supercharger on there. That's just Pontiac power. But I'm like, I don't want to give up this car that easily, and I've put so much into it to begin with. I mean, like, I put a front cam on it and stuff. So I'm emotionally attached to it, but I really enjoy driving it. So I figured I'd spend some time on it. I love it. I feel bad about not doing the body work to it. You know, I just put it off for so long. I think I started doing it in April. It's disgusting. Guess I'm not real big into image. Maybe I should be. Depends on what I buy, right? Do you buy things? Do they relate to your image? I probably need to. I bought these headphones out of functionality, and I'm Frankenstein the cushions on from better quality cushions. I like the microphone. Works great. Headphones are great. Better cushions. Really works. You know, it's design your own stuff. Sort of a thing. Design it out of what you can buy and find. And what I found is thread locker. Yeah, I guess I'm going to need some thread locker in the transmission or something like that. So I'm like, all right, let's go get some. And I go down to Walmart and I'm like, well, in one of the car aisles, they got to have some glues around there. So I'm walking through the Walmart and I see the car aisles. They're kind of back back in the corner. And I'm like, all right, this one's got all the weird shaped bottles. Because when I see all of the bottles that are all the same shape, I'm like, oh, those are the motor oils. Those are all in the motor oil aisle. And then when I see the boxes that are all orange because they're Fram, and then there's other colors mixed in because other people make air filters too, then I'm like, okay, that's the air filter aisle. I know I'm in the Fram air filter aisle. So one of the other aisles that has all of like RV stuff and like mirrors and sump pumps or whatever, you can tell that stuff's bigger. That's the RV stuff. But then you get into this aisle with all the shaped bottles and it's all kind of mixed and matched. There's bigger stuff and there's cans of stuff and I'm like, all right, somewhere in here is probably some sort of glue area. So I'm going along and I'm like, all right, here's the glues. It says Permatex or whatever. They're in squeeze tubes like toothpaste. I'm like, all right, that's got to be the glues. That takes me back to the old mechanics of the 1950s. That's how they would have bought it. And I'm looking through all of that stuff and I'm like, okay, there's thread locker. And I see there's blue thread locker, red thread locker, and one of them's a little bit more locker than the other. And I bought the blue because that was recommended. So I'm going to put what's recommended just to help make sure that the bolts in the transmission stay put. When do you resort to dowel rod and wax to get more control on your sander? Oh, speaking of videos, usually when they're small, which I'll show you something, Chris. Welcome. And how's it going, homie? Uh, I'll show you a couple things under the microscope cam before we tell jokes and head on out for the evening and for the week and for the lovely okay, so look at the knurled thumb screws that I used. You can't even see them. Bloop. These thumb screws, instead of using wing nuts, because I've hit my fingers on these before, and sometimes I pinch, like they'll be going down and it comes in this direction, and my thumb will get pinched between this plastic part and that screw, and I'm like, ah! And then, the gem goes flying and it flies up here and it hits the light and it ricochets off at like some 78-degree angle, and I can't, I find it like Christmas 3 years later, like that malachite ball. There's a piece of diopside I lost the other day. Anyways, so small. Well, it's relative, right? It's relative. But like, let's say if I switch her over to the microscope cam here, um, here's a chunk of a piece of ruby from that ruby a few shows ago, and this thing's got some like I can see through it with some light on it. So I'm wondering if I facet it, if it'll actually kind of turn into a nifty little ruby piece. But anyways, that's a little small for me. The smallest gem, if I can find it, that I've ever faceted by hand is this guy. And there was a lot of using that edge door. Yeah, I didn't even put top edge facets on it yet, did I? So this, let's see, where's the thinger? This little screw. Yep, Peridot. You got it. Exactly. This little door here, it mostly I use it to help me get the laps off the master lap because they're stuck on with the water and it's faster. But originally that was so that I could access the edge, and I still use it sometimes for smaller stuff. Uh I'll be over there and I'll use the door, open the door, and that way the wheel's like this, and I can hold the back side of the gem and this much of the gem, and then turn it onto the edge of the wheel, and just touch it and stuff. And that allows me to get a little bit closer. eh, be careful with power tools. Also, when I cut smaller gems, I eat away some of my fingernails, and sometimes it gets hot, and I'm like, yeah, so you want to be careful doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, one other thing I'll show you before we tell a couple jokes is that I have some dops. I haven't done the wood yet. This is dop from the faceter. It's still got glue for the one black gem in case I want to realign it or do anything to it. But these are all, like this is a screw, and these are some bar nails that I ground the heads down on. This is a piece of opal. I'm working for a ring for Colette. I need to put it over on a 2 millimeter dop for the faceter. This is a piece of rhodolite from like 4 years ago, piece of topaz the same. And I just used this to do like a piece of emerald, I think. Okay, so here's a way to really answer your question. I'll round it out with this. Emphasis on round it out. A great time to use a dop is rounding an edge over. Like if I'm just going to round one edge over like the rose quartz last week, I usually do that by hand. But if I'm going to dome something or like half of something, I put it on a dop, and then I can get way more domey. And you just kind of hold it, and you can spin the thing and spin the gem really fast. And you spin it at all sorts of different angles. And then that's a great way to make a cabochon. But one thing I didn't cab is this carnelian. It's a flat turn, so I just kind of did that by hand because I can hold it there and flat turn it. But when I'm trying to spin it and like make a cab out of it, yeah, that's a great time to use a dop. Oh, here's a question. Yeah, and you can spin it. Okay, so here's a question. What do you stick them on with? Cause I mean wax. I haven't done the wax yet, to be honest. I used JB Weld on the the JB Weld 1 minute on the brass dops for the faceter, and I use hot glue on the hand dops. And the hot glue sometimes comes off, so maybe I should be using the wax. Is the wax easier to use? You know what's easier to use? Jokes. What do we have? Jokes for a portion of the program? Okay, by the way, I was thinking becoming a comic is a great way to assign blame to existing problems. Already got problems? No problem. Just be a comic. Done deal. You can just blame it up. You can say it's all part of my act. It's part of my art. What did the man in the woods in the dark say? What did I just pee on? Easy as pie. People say easy as pie. Making gems is easy as pie. But it's easy as making pie, not eating it. That's way easier. Eating pie is way easier. I don't know if there's anything easier than eating pie. That's why they don't say it's easier than pie. They say it's easy as pie because there's nothing. Okay, I don't have any end for that joke. We got to round that one out. Dogs. Okay, I discovered this one. This is an answer. This is not a joke. This is something I discovered. I understand it. When dogs see each other, they bark at each other because they know there can be only one. Hashtag Doglander. Man, this is kind of sad because the Lucky Cat in Cedar Rapids is going out of business. Not really going out of business. They're done. The people that have been running it, they're retiring and stuff. And it's kind of the end of an era, I guess. And if you check on the channel, I've got a video of me doing the Lucky Cat comedy competition back in Iowa, and I was like, Is it good PR to have a performance at a place that closed down? I'm not responsible for them closing. That's not. Oh, that's just so wrong. So wrong. Stupid comedy brain. Ah, I missed the Lucky Cat already, and they're not gone yet. So if you get out to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, check out the Lucky Cat. Why? Okay, hard to round out from that one. This is freaking practice. I tell you what. All right, what do I have anything on my Hangouts before we actually get to the last joke? I know I got more than 6 jokes. Maybe not. Oh, ah, I'm tired of folding clothes. Please, we need to bring back the crushed velvet look. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I was just having an active ingredient day. I can't tell the difference between HF or RHF. Hashtag resting hater face. Um, oh, I went to Tai Chi and I stubbed my toe and I developed an ouchie, which could be a reason that the fishermen started dancing. But I had to ask, why did the fisherman start dancing? Because he caught a catchy tuna. Or maybe he was just dancing because he wound up being able to catch the joke portion of the program. Pie with ice cream. We need to go back to that. We definitely need to go back to pie with ice cream. Um Facets look good but difficult. Oh, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that, man. Some type of wax. Yeah, it's a thing. The thing about the wax, you got to get the heater and then the wax and then the sticks and then you got to like okay, I'm going to be serious about this cuz it's like all right, I get it now. If I was using the wax, there's a 99% chance that there is a 100% chance that I would burn myself with wax on accident. Might like it, might be fun, don't want to know, not gonna find out. Just using hot glue for now. Might try the wax, might be fun. Never know. You know what's fun? It's chatting with you guys and seeing you come by and say hi and talk about gems and buying things and jokes. And I got to get some interviews, right? It's been over a year. I got to get Linda Marcus Smith. She's awesome. She's doing more interviews and she's getting around the country. She's amazing. She's like really growing. Also, Steve Bennett's book. I found it on Amazon or something like that. Where was that? I'm going to look that up real quick. Absolute. Util. So, ab. Absolutely. Bogus Stories by Steve Bennett in Amazon. This is the dude that gave us the Mexican crazy lace. I burn myself with hot glue while I'm putting magnets in helmets all the time. I know, it's kind of like just part of doing it. I'm like, man, I know that wax. I know I'm gonna burn myself on the wax. It's gonna happen. But you know what I didn't do is burn myself on this show. Okay, that doesn't have a round out. But I do Well, you know what? We'll just not round it out. We'll just keep the show going until next week. We'll just be right back. See you guys next week and all that kind of stuff. It's a Mexican crazy lace agate Colette. A couple of shows ago I showed it. I'm gonna show it again next week. And maybe we'll show it every week at 9 p.m. Eastern. Have a great week, guys. You guys are awesome and you have the power to do it. You're awesome. You're amazing. I want you to come back and tell me all about it next week.